Our team has been teaching structural and cell biology for many years, and we have been thinking how to improve the teaching of these topics. How do games and physical models contribute to the learning of these topics? Since the year 2000, we have been working on the development of educational research on structural molecular biology and biotechnology, games and physical models. We have offered continuing education courses to the hundreds of teachers of natural sciences in the São Paulo state. We have supervised the annual team of Science Club addressed to the public school students. In addition, we have an interactive science space to scientific outreach in São Carlos City downtown. All of our educational resources have been evaluated in relation to their potential for teaching and learning, and today we will present some evaluation results of the game we have named Synthesizing Proteins. For this, we first chose a theoretical framework to understand how the interactions among players would help in the learning. The interactions can be analyzed from the perspective of the social interactionist theory of Vygotsky. He classified as real level of development the cognitive development achieved by the learner without help or cooperation, and level of potential development that achieved with the help or collaboration of a more capable peer, teacher, or a colleague. The gap between these levels he termed zone of proximal development, ZPD, and it has been suggested that an adequate teaching method is one that projects ahead of the actual development and into the ZPD. The game contains playing cards and a board with a cross-section diagram of eukaryotic animal cell showing organelles and other structures identified by their names. The game runs in 5 stages, numbered on the board, which are traveled through by using the cards. The M cards contain a problem situation related to the protein to be synthesized by the participant. Another set of cards, called action cards, dictate the game dynamics, and a set of pieces represent the game component as messenger RNA, primary protein structure, and processed protein. In each round, players can buy new cards and perform an action. At the end of the move, the player has to discard one card. The game ends once the first participant completes the 5 stages, culminating by everyone reading aloud their M card. At the end of each match, the teacher can mediate a discussion on the following topics: consequences to the organism if any of the proteins are not expressed, simultaneous protein synthesis in our organism, diversity of functions, importance of proteins to our body. The study was planned with the following stages: definition of target population, high school students, survey on students' knowledge of proteins, selection of students for the intervention, playing the game, application of the intervention, and evaluation of the game contribution towards understanding concepts. 130 high school students participated in the first stage of the research, that was a survey on students' knowledge of proteins. The students were from 2 classes of one public school and from 2 classes of a private school. In the second stage, 9 students from private school and 6 students from the public school participate. These students volunteered to participate because they were motivated to. With these 15 students, we applied a pre-interview. Then they played the game and 1 month later we applied a pause interview. A qualitative content analysis was performed to organize and interpret the collected data. Within the context presented, we set the following research questions. What were the students' prior conceptions about proteins? Do students post interviews indicate improvement regarding students' understanding of concepts about protein synthesis? Which types of interactions are at play during the game? For the question A, we found a tendency to provide a general definition of the protein's role in the body, a tendency to associate proteins with food or animal origin, a tendency to understand proteins only as structural components of body tissues, therefore with a primarily structural function. For question B, we observed that there was an extension of the biological functions of proteins. Students modeled the process of intracellular synthesis, structures involved, and its roles in the process. For question C, we found that the student-student interactions presented 2 profiles, cooperative and competitive. The cooperative interactions was in the sense of making corrections and reformulations as necessary. Look at the dialogue where Michael encouraged Mauricio to finish his RNA messenger and leave the nucleus. In the competitive interactions, students began to play strategically, avoiding discarding cards that could favor the opponents. Also, they understood the rules and realized that a certain move could affect the move of other players. Look at the dialogue, the answer of Junior to Julio. As the main finds, we pointed. The game helped the students modeling the protein synthesis process, materializing a process that's only understood within the imaginary. Students could identify the relationships among intracellular structures involved in the synthesis of proteins, as well as the protein's final destination. The game stimulated the development of important skills such as decision-making, anticipations, managing situations, and strategic conduct. These are the references with some of our published papers about the game. We acknowledge the following Brazilian agencies for the financial support: FAPESP, CNPq, and CAPES. Visit the website of the Interactive Science Space. Thank you.